Hey everybody, and welcome to Binder Minder. And today is another one of our mail days. I've been hanging on to a few things that have come in. We've been kind of working on a few different decks, getting cards in for decks, and then also, as always, for our collections and stuff like that as well for both my wife and my collections. As far as the decks we're working on, she's got a zombie deck that I've ordered a few cards here and there for. I've got a cheap $20 or less deck that I've been picking up parts for here and there. I've got an Iron Man deck that, if you've been a long time viewer, you've seen. I've been just slowly picking up cards for that one. I don't think I have any Iron Man cards on this one. Maybe I do. And then the biggest focus has been finishing up my Templar Knight deck. I've got a big thing for all these. You can have as many of this card in the deck, and I've been slowly building the deck around each one of those basically. So I've got a Slime Against Humanity, I've got a Rat Colony deck, I've got a Nazgul deck. What else do I have? I've got another one. Can't even think of them all at this point. But the point is I'm slowly working on and picking up all those. I collect all those cards and building decks around all of them. And then, of course, we have a whole bunch of different collections. And then I don't think I have anything on this right here, but I do have. I have some cards on order now for our next mail day that are going to be coming in to do some upgrades for my Slime Against Humanity deck. Actually, I'm going to be changing the commander. It's something I kind of put off for a long time. Basically, I built the deck, a few years ago, when Murders of Karloff came out. And I haven't really changed it for a while. And it's probably the deck that I play the most out of all my decks. And so I was kind of toying around with the idea for a long time of whether I wanted to build it around the Ghostbusters Secret Lair. So I've changed the deck around. I think I'm changing about 30 cards. So it's a pretty significant change. A lot of those I've had. Some of them are cards that are not specific to changing it around because of the commander. Some of them are just upgrades to the deck and stuff like that I've been planning on getting, which if you've been around for a while, you've probably seen. I've already picked up like Parallel Lives and stuff like that. I'd already gotten a Parallel Lives, Wastewick Verge, Inspiring Call, Convert to Slime. A couple cards that I hadn't added in there because this is from Duskmourn, and this was just expensive. Verge Lands didn't even exist when I built the deck originally, so. Those are all cards that come out since then. There's more of those kind of cards, as well as adding in blue, because the commander is changing and adding blue into the mix, which means I'm changing some lands around, adding in triomes and stuff like that. So yeah, majority of the cards I already have, I've already started on, but you will see some more of those. Until then, though, this is what I've got in over the last, I think, 2 weeks since I've done another one of these. So we'll just go ahead and dive into these. Like I said, most of these I think are going to be for Templar Knights. I'm really close to finishing that deck up. Even as I sit here right now, let me look here. I can tell you exactly how many I need. So I need 8 cards to finish up the slime change. And then I'm looking for 8 cards in total for both the Bird deck, which is the $20 deck, and my Templar Knight deck. The Templar Knight deck is 3 of those, and then it's 3 regular cards, and then there's 4 lands that I like to get, and then there's still 1 card needed for the cheap deck as well. Most of those are cards I'm just going to go to the game store. I just haven't been to the game store in like 2 months. So anyhow. No point in wasting any more time. First card here, it's a nice foil Vault of Champions. If you don't run these in your decks, any of these enters the battlefield tapped unless you have 2 or more opponents. These are great for commander decks. I love them. My favorite series of lands by far. And this is a pretty cool one. And then I got 1 art card from Final Fantasy. This is for my wife's Final Fantasy collection. I think she has like 10 art cards that she needs to complete the art card set. And frankly, every time I've ever ordered anything on TCG Player, none of the people that sell these art cards are selling anything that I'm looking to buy. So I was happy to find one card that was a nice welcome change. So pile of stuff for her stuff, pile for my decks, and then I'll make a pile for stuff that's going to be going into our binders as well. So next up, Hedron Crawler. This is going to be for the bird deck. Pretty much anything that has 2 creature types like that, artifact creature, or 2 types like that is going to be good because the deck itself triggers when I play anything that has multiple types. So Hedron Crawler is going to be for that deck. Gary, this is actually for her deck, her zombie deck. Spirit of Heloid. This is going to be for It's going to be for the Templar Knight deck, and so is Deserted Beach, I'm pretty sure. Bajuka Bog. Bajuka Bog could be in either one of them, I think. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and find out which one that one's for. And then Dracula. This is going to be for our collection stuff. Next up, we have a little flip card. McKindy Stampede. I love these flip cards. This is definitely going to be for my Templar Knight deck. And then Witch's Cottage. This is probably for her zombie deck, but I'll have to double check. Let's put that right there. Kindred Discovery. This is the anime card. It's funny because I've got, I think, 3 of these. I just, I build a lot of decks that are, beyond this style of deck where it's the same type. I build a lot of decks that are just typal, right? So it's not too big of a surprise that we've used this in a couple of decks. I've got them in my bird decks and stuff like that. But this one is going to be in the Templar Knight as well. And I actually just got one of these the other day for upgrading my Tempest Hawk deck. I changed it around and added blue, and I added a Kindred Discovery into that. But I used the other version of it. This time I went with the anime one. Anyhow, Bloodseeker. This is, I believe, for her deck. Tale of Trees. This is going to be for my deck for sure. My deck as well with the Malakar Rebirth. She doesn't really like the flip lands. I love them. Flood Farm Verge, probably going to be in my deck, and then I know that this Hathium Kinway is also in my deck, in my Tempest Hawk deck. Or, I'm sorry, in my Templar Knight deck. Last Pole Mimic, same thing, that's definitely there, and then this right here is Enchantment Creature, so this is going to be in my bird fight deck. Another flip card, but we'll get to that in a second. I saved this, so... Spellfinder, if you guys have ever ordered from Spellfinder on TCG Player, if you didn't know, Spellfinder is card conduit. So like when you sell your cards to card conduit, they list them up as Spellfinder. And I saw that when I ordered these, it finally came with a nice little token. Pretty cool. I don't know if I need it. It's a construct and a 4/4 dragon. These 4/4 dragons, actually, it's funny. 4/4 flying dragons were pretty expensive for tokens for a while, so that might be why they're doing that. It's probably not a bad idea. So pretty cool. All right, Herald of Hoofbeats. This is definitely for the Templar Knight deck. Give all my knights horses to ride on. I'm not particularly a big fan of horsemanship because I feel like it's one of those weird things where a lot of people don't have any counter to it. But in this case, it does fit the theme of the deck, and so I didn't feel too bad about adding it in there. Rakashad Golden Cub. This is going to be for the collection stuff, but it's going to be for my wife's collection. We'll put it in this one, though. Adorn Pouncer, same thing for her cat collection. Abraham Van Helsing, another one of the Dracula cards. This right here is, even though it doesn't say it, this, I'm pretty sure, I'll have to double check. I'm pretty sure this is a cat card as well, even though it doesn't say it on there. And then I know this Glittering Lion is, which is pretty cool in the foil. I like old foils. Halgrim Mauling. This is going to be in my deck as well. Excuse me. I hope everybody's been doing well. Mortuary Mire, that's going to be in a deck. We'll figure out which deck it's in. I'll just throw this in that as well. Graft Harvest, same thing. I think that's her deck, but we'll have to make sure. There's a cat card. There's one of my deck cards, Reflections of Legera. This is another typo card that I run in a lot of those. Copper Mirror. This is going to be in the Bird Fight deck. Shepherd of Rot. That's for her zombie deck. And then Wingstorm. This is going to be the Bird Fight deck as well. So give me just a minute. I'm going to go through and get the things that I know are going in the collection scanned. And then I'm going to go through and mark off all these cards that we did get in for decks and make sure they get them in the right storage. And if you've never seen how I do my storage, so I do a couple things. As far as how I do ordering, it was just, I feel like I'm organized, but if you've watched this a lot, I still manage to order things sometimes multiple times. I build a mox field of a deck, and then I screenshot the deck, I snip it, and then I use the marker and snip, and I go through and I put little dots next to each one of them that I own, or that my wife owns. I mark them in those colors. And then once I've gone and pulled it out of my boxes, I put a little line through it over on the right where the price is, so I can keep track of which ones I have and then which ones I've already pulled and put up. And then, of course, every time I order a card, I also put a dot next to it and just in a different color. So I used yellow every time I order them, and then when they come in, I put the line over to the side as well. And then, of course, I like to use the old Dragon Shield boxes when I can. These things are great because you can usually throw a little label on top. You can see where I've used these multiple times where I've had other labels. But yeah, you just stick them in there. Like this one right here, I haven't relabeled it. I've been lazy, I haven't relabeled these. And then every once in a while, I will use the deck box. So these are the boxes I've got currently for stuff. So Iron Man. I believe her deck, the zombie deck, is actually sitting over on her desk. But yeah, so let's dive into this. I'm not sure what this is actually. This box might be, this is some stuff that just needs to be sorted. So I'll set that off to the side. Anyhow, I will be back in just a minute with the binders, and we'll get going with all that. All right, we're back. I got the cat binder out here. We don't really have a lot of binder cards, really, so this is the majority of them. It's the stuff that goes in the cat stuff. So we'll just go and do this in alphabetical order real quick, and then we'll be good to go. All right, so first thing we're looking for is a Dorn Pouncer. I'm pretty sure it's going to be this spot right here. There's only one spot, and there's an adorned kitten right next to it. Next up, we're looking for Glittering Lion, so we're looking for the G's. So we got GLs, GEs. I'm not going to spend too much time digging this up. We can fix it later if we need to. It's either going to be right here or right here. I just don't know what all we have. So GL, though, most likely going to be in this spot. Next up, Persia of Urborg. So the P's, we can skip pretty far into those. Just noticed that's got like some of the stuff missing. Interesting. PUs. PUs are going to be right here or right there. So the same thing, we'll just drop it here and we'll find out later on where we're at on that. Next up is the R's. It's a R-A-K, so we've already got some of this here. Do I already have this? I think I've just got I'm kind of jammed up right here. So let me look. I'm actually going to have to look it up. So give me just a sec. We'll go to Scryfall and check it out. All right, so what this is so these three right here, this Rakashkas, they're kind of weird in that they don't, they're not actually cats anymore. So I'm gonna keep them in here. I just got to rearrange some stuff here. So Quasi Slingers is our first one, and then we go to Raging Cougar. So that needs to be right here, and then we can put these others in order. Technically, this Rakasha Golden Cub is going to be our next card, and then these other ones will go in order as from there. And of course, I'm going to have to combine them a little bit. It's going to get a little weird because we don't have enough spots for it. We'll just go ahead and kind of, I'll make sure it's a little bit visible so I can fix it later on. Or, you know what? There's an extra spot here. We'll just push the problem on to future me. That's what we'll do. So death and debaser. So death's going to go first. And debaser will go here. We're getting so close to finishing this up. I'm sure I'm going to have to rearrange some things a little bit here and there. So not too worried about it. Next thing up, though, we got Teamer, Sabertooth. You pass all these S's. There's so many of them. The TEs. There's only one spot it could be. Look at that. So looking good. Not too bad. That actually finished up a set of pages there. As far as how many do we need, counting whatever I have on order. You know, it's funny, we still haven't actually put the 3 cards from Final Fantasy in here. You know, that's going to happen at some point. But as far as what I haven't ordered yet, I'm down to 24 cards for her cat collection here. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyhow, I'm going to switch binders. We'll go ahead and move on to the next thing, which is the Final Fantasy. I've got 1 card to put that in. So we have the Final Fantasy binder here. And most of this is all Final Fantasy stuff. Really, she's actually down to just a couple of cards as far as the actual set. She has some of the Sids, mostly the Sids, and I think she needs Kefka. And she needs a normal, you can't see it on the camera, but she needs a normal traveling chocobo. So she bought a borderless one because she likes the art, and I don't blame her because I did too. But she still needs to get 1 of those and then 1 land, which we don't have. So you see all the Sids that she's missing. So just a matter of time picking up all the Sids. And all these bonus sheet things, I don't think she's too worried about them. We just kind of have them spaced out because they fit. There's a couple tokens she's going to have to get. I think these are tokens that are only available in the commander decks. That's why we can't get them. So we need to order them. Then we have the art cards that she's been working on. So this is art card number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I swear the cats are quiet all day until I start filming something. Anyhow, we'll go ahead and get switched over to the last binder. I've just got 2 cards to put in one of my binders. So okay, so we got 2 of the Dracula cards to put in here. Let me look and see how many more Dracula cards I need. It's not very many, I can tell you that much. So I'm down to 23 as far as cards I need to order from Stellar Sights. There's 7 Edge of Eternity's cards that I'd like to get. 1, 2, 3. 3 of those are the only ones I actually need to complete the set that I was trying to finish up. Here we go. So I'm down to 2 cards from Crimson Vow on my list here. I need 3 Weird Sisters and Count Dracula. Both of them are like $4 to $5. Alright, so 334 and 330. So 330 is going to go right here. Get a nice complete row. 334. So you see there's 3 spots left. I must have 1 on order out of these. Or I just have this messed up. We'll see. I'm not really sure at this point. We'll figure that out once we get a little closer to finishing it up there. But all of this stuff is done on this page. Anyhow, that's it for today's mail day. It wasn't too much. I've got a bunch more on order. Like I said, my focus honestly has been finishing up a couple of these decks. But I did order a pretty good stack of Edge of Eternity's cards. So I'll have some of that stuff coming in soon. And who knows? I'm not really sure what I ordered next. You know, it's just whatever tickles my fancy at the time. Like I said, sometimes I focus on finishing up the decks. The problem is once I finish the decks, then I'm like tempted to start building another deck. So it's usually better if I don't finish the decks because at least I'm not, you know, rushing on to the next deck. But, you know, it also feels really good to finish them up. And I'm so close right now to finishing up 2 decks, the cheap deck and the Templar Knight deck. And I'm really close to finishing up that change I was working on my Ooze deck. And honestly, as far like I still have a bunch of other decks, especially in any of those, you can have any number of decks. I still have a bunch to build. But I have a couple decks that I might do some upgrades to. I've got my Nazgul deck that I might do some changes to in my Dragon deck. The problem is the Dragon deck, nobody really explained against it, so I don't play it very often, even though it's one of my favorite ones. So I don't know. Maybe I'll make some changes to that to make it a little bit more fun to go against. I don't know. Or I just make it stronger. Make it stronger and try to find people to play that deck with. We'll see. Anyhow, till next time though, this is Binder Minder. As always, thanks for watching. To put us in your binder like we've been doing today, you can just like and subscribe us down below. Or I'm sorry, up above actually. No, it's down below. Down below. You can ring the bell to be notified, and you can catch us on our social media, which is down below in the description. Till next time, have a great day. We'll see you soon. Bye.